ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good evening and welcome. The entirety of the Auzom Premier League season, the regular season at least, has concluded and we are halfway through finals weekend. 4 games now separate one of these teams from being crowned the Auzom Premier League Season 2 champions. I'm Jorisar. Joining me on the analysis desk this evening is Cameron Davis. Cameron, you were here with me last night, of course, for the first half as well. And the games did live up to the hype.
Yeah, we had some really good games. We had a lot of interesting results as well through a lot of them. But after the end of it, we are going to see our top 1 spot be, unsurprisingly, still FaZe Clan. But below them, it's going to be Method, Vitality, Alliance, and then Knights for 2nd through 5th. There is still some wiggle room within a lot of the top placements. But FaZe specifically, they're already gathering a little bit of a lead on the rest of the pack.
That final game, I feel like, from FaZe Clan was so important, where they won and had some of their opponents finish in 15th and 16th. FaZe didn't have the, shall we say, most ideal start to the finals weekend yesterday. A couple of really brutal rotations, cutting their chances short in the first 3 games, if I'm not mistaken. But they closed out so unbelievably strongly and just showed us what they can do when they get to where they want to be.
Yeah, exactly. But let's also look at Alliance, though, because they're in 4th place right now. They entered the event sitting at a nice middle of the pack 9th place, and so able to climb up into 4th is good. Is a good first day. However, they did that with 2 first place victories, but a 10th place and a 15th place. So if they want to really continue this path of skyrocketing up the leaderboard, they need to figure out how to kind of cut out those, lower level, they don't have to get a first every single time.
Sure.
But that 15th especially and 10th even aren't that great. And so they should figure out a way what they did wrong on those 2 particular games to try and at least increase their average placement.
Agreed. And, some of that is at the end of the day going to come to luck and the positioning of the other teams, because they're 15th place in the last game yesterday. If you ask yourself the question, what was that down to? I will fondly remember that is Digital Chaos and UNHC bowling through them in a dasher at 100 kilometers an hour. How much swimming do you have to do to prepare for a play like that, right? Like, it's tough. Like, they were dealt a real bad hand when he came zooming down the hill to help his teammates, and they were about to win that team fight as well. So in this game, timing really can be everything sometimes.
Yeah, but they're not the only teams in this lobby. Of course, we have, who else are on the leaderboard? Let's just count them down. Penta in 6th, Rogue in 7th, Lumbermill 8th, Team Liquid in 9th, Diamond Dogs in 10th, TSM 11, 112, FC Espo 13, Zucht in Nam 14, Digital Chaos 15, and then Imperial in 16th place. And I'm gonna pull this question over to you because you called them out at the beginning of the day yesterday as a team that you were looking at. Team Liquid, they did climb up. They started in 15th place, but they're now, I don't want to say only 9th, but they're now only 9th.
Sure. And on the one hand, starting in 15th place and basically having no points and having a 190-point gap to FaZe, give or take, it's like, that is a big gap to try and close, and they didn't end up closing that gap yesterday. What I'm going to say is they built a foundation. They finished, I think, 6th, 8th, or 9th in all of their games. So they were relatively stable, didn't quite get that final circle luck, but played reasonably well until then. And I'm pretty sure at least one of those games involved them all being almost completely squad wiped at the beginning of the game and surviving through towards the end. So they haven't been the Team Liquid, we're going to frag out with 15 kills a game, Team Liquid, that we'd love to see. But at the same time, they've still been consistent, and I feel like they've built a platform. They can go either way today. And obviously, we're hoping they frag out big time. But you're right. 9th is not where they want to be. I would, if I had to say, let's do this, and if they don't make this, I'll eat my hat, I'd say they'd climb from 9th into the top 7. But I'm secretly hoping they climb into the top 4.
Yeah, well, if anything, it's always very, very enjoyable when they do take over. They are one of the most enjoyable teams to watch when they become that powerhouse team that we've seen before in other events. Finally, though, I do want to bring, I'm looking at a lot of these top names, and there are a lot of swings. Alliance aren't the only team who have had some really good placements countered by some really bad placements. You have the Knights, who have a 3rd and a 4th, but then 2 10ths. and then Method, who have a first, a third, and a seventh, and a 16th. But that is all the time that we have on the opening desk. We are going to throw it to our 2 in-game commentators for this last best of 4 series, and it's going to be Boogie and D-Man.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and kids of all ages, it is time. The final day of the second season of Auzom is upon us, the APL, and I'm very, very happy to be here to bring it to you. We're going to watch this story unfold to a closure, indeed, and it's going to be quite a beautiful one. Joining me today, of course, is Lee Smith. D-Man, how are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing very good. I hope I'm counted as one of those kids of all ages.
You definitely are.
I'm certainly old enough.
It's in the mind. That's where youth is, I suppose. I'm saying that because, of course, myself, I'm over 30, so I have to.
Yeah, but immediately Skyline has shown us that AIM-PR and TSM have dropped into Georgia Pole. Obviously, the plane did sort of allude this way, but I don't think he even got a gun there. He's just trying to make a mad dash and get away. He's trying to bomb it around. He doesn't have a gun. He's being chased heavily by Alliance, who did very well yesterday, will chase him down. And AIM-PR, the shot caller, in-game leader, has gone down very, very early. TSM. So yesterday, if you may have missed it, there's a lot of people obviously may not knowing that we had the first 4 games yesterday. They were pretty much going Ferry Pier. They had the choice in the final game to go Georgia Pole North. They've had to switch away from that because, as you can see, the guys from the Diamond Dogs are up that way at the moment. And instead, they were going down Ferry Pier. So it's interesting they've made this switch. They've clearly looked at things last night and thought, okay, South Georgia Pole, not too bad, because Alliance were going Novo all last night. So they're probably not expecting to see Alliance in this exact same spot.
Yeah, it could be potentially that case indeed. So that's a bit of an unfortunate start, of course, for Marius AIM-PR, the man from TSM, of course, who played the role of a coach for a short period of time, only to return back with Vis's departure. And it seems so far that TSM have found themselves a nice little pace. It doesn't mean much, of course. Well, it means something, of course, that he's been eliminated early on. But then again, his role in this roster here is more of a strategic one, let's say, even though he is a very, very powerful fragger, and his role, he also combines a bit of a support role. He picks up the guns that his teammates don't necessarily want to pick. But yeah, it feels like they found themselves a bit of a niche, a bit of a play style, one way of playing the game. And it's working out nicely. We were talking on Friday, actually, I think it was. We were talking about, Thursday, we were talking about Smack, how consistent he is. Now, let's get back into the game here, because in Raw Shock, we do see 2 other teams that are going to have to face each other. Indeed, it will be Digital Chaos A1 that peeks into Cloudtail from Penta.
Yeah, no, it's actually the Imperial these days.
It's Imperial
it's
these
Imperial,
days.
yeah. Now, Digital Chaos kind of gave up Rozak between the Imperial yesterday. They let them have it. They started out over at School and Apartments, and then they even went into Saverny, bumped into Lumber Mill. Then they kind of like, okay, let's go over here. So now they've decided, okay, you know what? Obviously looked at the data. Let's get into Rozak. Now, I know these guys obviously been playing DreamHack qualifiers all day long as well, so there's been a lot of games. So maybe they've just completely forgot the Imperial go here as well. I don't know. Obviously, first drop of a long day. They were talking about yesterday. I know I saw Break saying, hey, we've just had a 14-hour day playing PUBG. I hate PUBG right now. Yeah, so these guys are having some pretty grueling schedules this weekend. But yeah, very interested to see how this works out, because Imperial, DC have been dropping in Rozak fairly consistently over the last 3 to 4 weeks now. So I was surprised to see them give it up so easily when they fought Dignitas for it 2 to 3 weeks back in the Stream.me PUBG Invitational. I was impressed to see how easily they're giving it up to Imperials, but I guess they've decided, you know what? What are we doing? What are we doing? Get back in Rozak.
Something's not working out. And back there, indeed. And I want to point this one out there, because this is a lot of time wasted for both of these teams. The Imperial, of course, being last place at this moment in time, but they're waiting for their moment to come back into the game. And yeah, there you go. Apologies, I mistaken it earlier. I actually looked at the squad name, and well, the quality of what we're watching right now isn't necessarily perfect. So I thought it was actually squad number 10. I didn't even think of it. Now, let's get back into it. Of course, Suntouch now blocked as well by Digital Chaos, and I was pointing this out. It's a bad situation for both of these teams, because in this looting looting period right about now. It's very important that they find what they need to find, and then they go to the designated compounds where they want to play the game. But neither of these teams can do it at this moment because, well, they're going to have to face each other, and it doesn't seem like they want to retreat. Either of those don't necessarily have such an easy retreat. Shock, of course, gives you that urban landscape, but as soon as you're out, the only safest route would be through the north side, as you could potentially go into the water. But to make it there, it does look like the Imperial are going to have to take their last member standing on the south side of Shock, and that's going to be the difficult part.
Yeah, and to take off what you were saying there, just look at Sims. Sims had no helmet, iron sighting. These guys are so low looted right now. Meanwhile, the Imperial, they're the other side of the road. They're in North Rozhok, and they are quite happily looting. It's only Suntouch that's over here that's delaying them. Doesn't have a helmet himself. You can see he is taking looks towards Suntouch. Sims, over the other side. So he's going to back away from that. Sims, of course, now on a, I don't know whether you call it a temp or a trial or whatever you want to call it for Digital Chaos, obviously formerly of the Diamond Dogs and Penta before that. But yeah, so looks like they're going to give it up. Suntouch is making a mad dash for it. He's going to run down the hill and try and get out of sight in Rozhok. It's quite hard to get out of sight there, though. That's quite an open area is running. But the circle, it is up north. The plane pretty much cut across the middle. We had finally a decent plane. We had some horrific planes yesterday, literally cutting across from, say, Milta Power down to Sosnovka. It was just like, what is this plane? And then the second one was Lipovka down to Sosnovka. It was like, what is going on? What are these planes happening? But Method actually yesterday did have a pretty decent day, but were pretty late and rotating. Now, Alliance, of course, this time didn't go into Novo, dropped into South George. So they decided to try and take up that bridge position, which may cast the rest of Method out rotating, because it looked like Andy got across just ahead of them.
Yes, indeed. You got to cross for the bridge in the middle, not the one where Meter is in right now. And AT actually is going to be crossing paths with Meter soon enough. They will definitely spot each other. Looks like Andy is far away from his teammate AT, far enough not to be able to support him. But AT could have heard Meter passing by, so he decided to pull on a different route, slightly turning left. But yeah, that might be a cross indeed. And the compound that you mentioned there from Alliance, it's a very powerful one. It is one that can gatekeep a lot of teams. It's super, super strong. It's got 360 visibility. And on that bridge, we call it the Bridge of Death at this moment in time, just because of that compound, just because of how powerful it is. Now, let's get back into it, because it does look like Peter from the Imperial is going straight to where Andy was sent in as a scout to lock down this compound, which effectively is a powerful one indeed as well. But this is the only weak point on this one. Actually, on the north side as well, there's a bit of a lip. It's a bit of a weak point where Peter is coming in from, so Andy could see himself in trouble. But luckily, AT is driving past, so with him stopping there, that should tell the Imperials that the compound has been taken. So technically, there wouldn't be any kind of reason for them to push right now.
No, absolutely. Pity just seeing if he can creep up there. Clearly waiting for the support. He's got two of them. There's another one coming over the river as well, so they're slowly coming in, but Method have their third member now arriving. Stab's going to come cruising in, so they're going to be hearing these vehicles. I'm not sure if this is the time to go for it for Imperial. Method were very efficient in their movements yesterday in terms of kills. They had a 16-kill game in game 2 where they dominated. Though, back in the Dacia, just chilling in the back seat. Don't know what he's doing back there. You never ask them what they're doing in the back seat of a car.
That's a question that's better left unasked. Now, it does look like the Imperials might be rotating back to a different compound there. Of course, there's another one to be taken by them to their northeast, and that one actually doesn't seem to be taken at this moment in time, so they could potentially get in there. And yeah, there you go. So it's perfect, just north of that one last member from the Imperial. So Method for this moment will not be breached. It would have been silly for the Imperial to breach them anyhow. There would have been any kind of reason to do that. But yeah, it does look like to the north of Method is going to be Alliance. Northeast of that is going to be, of course, the Lumber Mill. Lumber Mill super happy with the circle, man. Severny, their looting grounds. And rarely it is that they get this kind of circle. And when they do, they normally go to the compound where you see them right now. But I am Larry. Ooh, some shots came onto him as he was sent in scouting with one of his teammates, actually. So Team 1 is going to have to reposition themselves to a different place.
So let's see. I mean, where would you prefer to go right now? Liquid have decided to go for Warehouse and the building split. Expect to see FaZe come around the back of Stalba, along with probably the Knights that will be slightly ahead of him. Andy is actually adjusting, so Method looking for a different place. Not so happy with the first location they went for. Andy being the scout. This is definitely a change, right? This is a big change from Method. We saw him doing this yesterday, being the scout for the team. Oh, I'm not sure about this choice. He's come in, and that's Lumbermill, is it? No, this is Imperial. They've decided to obviously adjust position. So he comes back around. Andy Pyro will catch one, manages to take him down. We find the others. We'll confirm the kill on that one. Suntouch tries to push around the side. Andy's on absolutely nothing. Suntouch should just try and charge him down. We find him in time. So close to switching it out there, Andy. Very, very close. Almost completed the heal, but Suntouch takes him down.
Yes, indeed he has. That's a bit of an unfortunate loss as well. We were talking Thursday, D-Man, about how they like to play as 4-man on the team of Method because they all kind of make the game around Andy's incredible mechanical aim. So, unfortunately, this time around, they're going to have to play as solos. But on Thursday as well, we've seen it. We've seen it actually yesterday as well. Team Method, they have great clutch potential as well. We saw Stab, I think it was, clutch it for his team so many times. I think it was 3 times in one evening. Just insane performance on him to bring his team into top 5. So that's what sees them right now with some good extra points to start things off with, of course. The starting day was yesterday. But look at this one here. They're actually going to be challenging the compound where the Imperial are right now. This will be a full-on fight. I'm not too sure what the idea for Team Method is, but, they don't want to let it go.
Stab trying to push up. You can see Eights and Chris around the side. Just not happy. They've lost their leader. They want revenge. They're trying to find out. They know that there's only 2 of them in here because one's already been executed. Chris coming in. He's just in the bathroom. Squeezed in the corner. It's so risky doing this sort of push. They managed to find the man at the top. On comes Suntouch. Will get himself a second and confirms it quickly as well. So nicely played by the Imperial. And that's what I was saying, how dangerous this is. Stab comes in. Will confirm himself the kill there. They will flush out the top as well. And it's going to be Method that will clear out the Imperials. They'll go down first.
And that's a bit of an unfortunate timing, of course, for the Imperial lads. Of course, they're currently standing on the last place in these current 8 matches, out of which 4 were played yesterday, as Lee just announced earlier on. So with these 4 matches today, they have a chance to redeem themselves. But this one's out of the way pretty much. So they're gonna have to bank on 3 matches to hope. I don't know. I'm thinking here, could they get into top 10? Because this is potentially what they could achieve in this situation. Now, look at that circle swing all the way to the northeast, and it will see FaZe in a very good position. Of course, they would love to take the gas station where the Knights are in. They normally play that compound, but they're known to play the compound to the north, slightly northeast of that one as well. So EMT is going to be the first one sent in as a scout, and FaZe should know that that other compound might be taken. Survivor is thinking about going to the same place, but I think Yempty has been spotted. So for this moment in time, it will be a nice little rotate for FaZe. Will hold on to their place there, whilst the Lumber Mill will try to achieve a better positioning. Earlier on, they were in the middle of the previous circle, now only to find themselves at the eastern gates. So they find themselves a nice little dip there. Liquid will take some shots, but most of them will probably not connect because there's very nice little dip that Lumber Mill have. In the meantime, you can see, of course, again, Team 1, and Larry driving the Baiku, hoping to get the rocks angle. He should be able to without any kind of problem in the world.
Yeah, big circle shift though. The sharp circle shifts. It's the talking point this week, unfortunately, since the latest patch. There was a lot of talk of being reverted, but that is a big deviation once again. Penta, fancy a piece of vitality there as they're cruising past. FaZe have gone in their usual spot. They found themselves a crate up in the top corner there, so the circle went their way effectively. They're used to this. TSM, they're going to be coming in on the west coast as well. Here is the Diamond Dogs, got themselves in and around this split building. Meanwhile, Alliance at the garage in the distance there, or petrol station, would you prefer to call it? Gas station, I guess, if you're American. Yeah, there was references in there. Yeah, already. No, you call it.
We actually call it
garage. Do the Spanish call it a gas station? Do the Germans call it a gas station?
They call
definitely do not.
El gas station in Spain. So.
El gas station.
El gas station, my friend. Now,
that's going to be a place on Miramar next.
Oh, it could be. It could be indeed, Brendan. If you're watching this, there you go, man. There's a bit of an idea for the next patch, perhaps. We've seen actually a patch on Miramar. We'll take on that one now because it seems to be a quiet moment. There's some new buildings, there's some new routes on that map, and I can't wait to see the next season of Auzom as well. I think it might include that one. I'm not too sure, nothing confirmed, but it probably will.
I'm not sure the players will be happy, but organizations are. I mean,
well,
hey, look.
Sorry, Lee, are the players ever happy?
That's actually true. That's actually true. But it has been pushed for PUBG Corp, obviously. Now making teams starting to play it more and more in the Eastern scene. So obviously over in Korea, it's starting to get put in rotations. Let's hope we don't have a third-person rotation being put in by Auzom as well. But that's definitely not going to happen. Just throwing it out there. Let's have a look at some of the rotations that are going on. You can see the boys from Digital Chaos. They were in Rozhok earlier on engaged. They got Vitality up on high, up towards Stalbar, and they managed to land some big hits there. Of course, the Dacia going to be going very slow over there. The UAZ not quite so bad with Sims is in, but Yoki certainly took a big old hit from Vitality up in the hillside. But where are they going to go? They're going to post up just around the north side of Stalbar, and they should be safe for now. Interested to see where this circle will shift to next. It's had some big deviation right up into the northern circle. Rogue actually coming in later. They're going to be ending up in North Severny.
Yes, they will be indeed. Well, let's go out coming in from the southwest side, and that one's going to be entering in the fire site of TSM. It seems to be here. Yes, indeed. It might not be the easiest task for the young gentleman of Zoktanam to push in, but they'll try that nonetheless. I don't know why that name gets me all giddy all the time, but I love it. I hope these guys actually don't find any names, because this is the best name in the world. Just want to put that out there. If you guys have an org, please convince that org to keep Zoktanam as your name. Now, they seem to be heading straight into that direction here, Lee, and it's not necessarily the best of things, because TSM are in a bit of a safer area. They're in a tunnel, but then again, they have that slight bit of cover that could help them out. And yes, indeed, Zoktanam and TSM will be going head-to-head. If TSM can help it, of course. They sure would love some free kills here, and gatekeeping Zoktanam outside of the circle would be ideal for them at this moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping them well out there. And this is going to be a really hard push for them. As soon as TSM realize there's someone behind them, they're going to be very much exposed. And then Ek is just running straight in there. Now, TSM, we saw them put the bike down into towards the shack. They're going to get up to this little wooden shack. Offers zero protection. Zero protection. Will be splintered apart in seconds by a singular grenade. And as I was saying, TSM, they pulled all the vehicles in, so there's really nothing to give them away other than the footsteps. They have got the UAZ out the back. Who left the UAZ out the back? Who did it? Come on, because we saw Smack expertly bringing the trike down there, which is probably the hardest thing to try and drag down in towards the little shelter there. At the circle, it's going to be bouncing in a minute. We'll see whether it takes another sharp deviation.
Yes, indeed. We'll have to find out. It does look like half of that shelter area, at least the exit part of it, is going to be just at the edge of the next circle. Indeed, we see it swing yet again, this time towards the west side. So most of the teams that have rotated earlier on are going to be quite happy. Of course, Digital Chaos, Vitality are going to have to come in a bit late there. They might have a bit of a hard time. Vitality, you already see them on the very far right of the screen, as you can tell yourself. They will be indeed heading into enemy territories here. It's a bit of an open area. There are some forest lines that you can take, of course. Digital Chaos will have some as well to cross in. But those shots being taken should relay to Vitality that there are enemies just on the other side of this crest. So smartly, they're going to stop their vehicles and get out and try to scout the area before they get in. But if they could, they should potentially avoid this fight if possible. By all means, there you go. Shiv does spot that UAZ. He's going to be scouting on the left side there, while his teammates will group up as well behind him, whilst Digital Chaos is going to be busy entering from another side. But look at this one. TSM are actually going to be, they're going to be breached by Zoktanam. Let's see what happens here, because Smack is already downed, and Break is going to have to hold the angle there, whilst his teammate is, well, out of the way pretty much. Is that just them from TSM? It's just Smack and Break.
It looks like it. It looks like it. NPR was taken down very early on, you remember?
Yes.
We can't see Rory anywhere. Rory was in and around there earlier, so looks like they've been completely taken out. The nades are going to come in. This is the danger of being in one of those shelters. The nades will just trickle down. Not a lot you can do about that. But I guess the saving grace is there are steps, which sometimes the line of sight will actually save you. But yeah, it's Break all alone now. Down in there. They probably don't want to risk going in there. FCU's actually blasting past in the background there, which is why they're all turned into their attention's being drawn to it. They're going into shooting range. Okay, so they're looking for a hole, probably thinking they could go into the same spot actually, but they're having to pull up. Looks like they changed vehicle. Break. Now this is a dangerous situation. Yeah, I'm going to say what I would do is probably just steal the UAZ or steal something and just wait. There's no reason to go into the little spider's nest effectively and try and take him out, because Break's certainly capable of taking these players down if they push him.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, there's
At least have
Rory.
that little
Rory's in
choke
Savannah.
point. Okay, fair enough. So at least he made his way crossing into Severity. It's going to be a bit more difficult getting out of that one once the circle swings out. Of course, he's got teams to his back, teams in his front. So by all means and purposes, it's not going to be an easy task at all. In the meantime, Lumber Mill do seem to have to share a bit of ground with Digital Chaos, but there's dips around that area, so they don't necessarily need to contest themselves. Oh, the Uncharged. Oh, the Uncharged does. Oh no, the humanity. The Uncharged don't do that. Break hears the Uncharged park the UAZ, but he cannot do too much to stop that one. It's going to have to be a healing game for him pretty much at this moment in time. Uncharged whips out his DP. He's going to be blowing up that UAZ, and with that, the chances of break to
That's
get out of there
mean.
pretty much. That is a oh boy. All right, there you go. Break is now in the blue. It's all going to be a healing game for him from this point forward. Phase in the meantime, we'll take some shots of Vitality. We seem to have lost some people here. It does look like Yimty does manage to get a knockout and a kill on Monkey here, it seems. Lost the last man standing. I think it was just one man standing. It was two potentially from Vitality. No, it's just Shiv. It is just Shiv, the last man standing. A hard rotation into the current angle there with FaZe having pushed south from their current compound just to make sure that nobody's on that area so that they can push safely into the next one here. Now, they're going to have to go against the Knights, and that's a very open area.
Yeah, Alliance also just getting into the edge of Saverny there, very close to where Rory was.
Control one.
He's
Control
off
one.
the bike. He's like healing
Control
himself,
one.
I think, wasn't he? Yeah. Couldn't get off there. But Penta moving up. Liquid in the complex just ahead of them. They do look for the warehouse. They see Liquid in there. They realize it's already taken, so they're going to hop back on their vehicles and move away and look for a better spot. Rory, as I was mentioning, you can see he's got Alliance that are posted up on the south end of Saverny right next to him. Roger in the north side of Saverny, the other side of the church as well. So place is getting really small here. Digital Chaos about to get charged in. Stab's coming fast in towards the shack. Out pops Ewan, and down goes Ewan as Stab comes around straight into Yoki's. Digital Chaos executed. Stab gets in safely.
Holy smokes, this guy's on fire. I told you that Method somehow have this crazy clutch potential. Stab just dealing with Digital Chaos like it's nobody's business. And with that in mind, taking off their chances to climb up on the ladders. Of course, 3 matches left for them as well. Now, more teams trying to make their way into Severny. It does look like it. But so far, it doesn't look to be such an easy task because, well, Team 1, I'm not sure. Oh, there you go. Larry's still alive, so it's not just going to be one guy. Oh, is he alive for long, though? Stab takes a shot to him. Larry's going to have to join his teammate Mikaz in the barn of Severny, on the south side of Severny here. He should be parking his bike inside as well, but he's slowing it down. Nobody's going to be peeking him. Okay, so that's okay for the moment, for the time being. I'm more curious to see where FaZe are gone right now, because they're gone on the north side of the white, and we'll go to them in a second. But so far, it does look like Rory's going to be breached in and taken down. TSM are having such a hard day with Sigsy pushing in and taking the chances of TSM to climb up anywhere on a good place, because Break is literally the last guy standing. Oh, he's just trying. He's only got bandages left here in this duel. That's unfortunate.
Oh, that is so mean. So mean. Zuktanam, that is literally like a form of torture, I think they've done to Break there. He's just bandaged himself up, but there is no way out. There is no way out. That is... Nope. I've not seen that one before. They're literally just dumping someone in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh yes. Oh, it happens. It happens on all the bunkers that you can actually do it. The UAZ being the only vehicle I think that can do that one.
Yeah,
you can jump over that. I'm not too sure 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
very nice.
It does look like Lumber will have found themselves some more frags in the meantime there. I think they took some people down earlier on. I think it was one of the last. No, it hadn't been one of the last ones because he got picked up. Now, this circle though, the next one is pretty much going to decide a lot of things, because it's a lot of open ground in this one here, we must say, Lee. And whoever gets the next one will have a decent chance. But look at AT sneaking close to Liquid. Ooh, that could be interesting because Stab is quite far for him, so AT has to play as a solo effectively.
Yeah, FaZe have gone up. They've only got the beachhead, which is not great. They've got to be careful of Ars. Ars is actually sneaking out there for SE Espo. Everybody else is kind of in there. Dingerabs has gone down now, though, so trying to get the revive on him. So while Zuktanam did deal pretty convincingly, oh no, Ek is down in there as well.
Smokes.
So there's like some sort of prayer convention going on in there. Uncharged's not going to get to him. He's on his own. Oh dear. So that's not good for the Dutch. They've got a bit of work to do. Everybody else inside, and there's the circle. And look at that. Lumbermill, who goes Severny. It's their circle. Only rightly so, I'd say.
Only rightly so indeed. We saw a hard shift from their previous position on the first circle there. Oh, in the meantime, let's watch a rotation for Brixco, who denies the frag by jumping off the bike at the very last second, knowing that he probably is going to get glacked. So, DRMA fire, caught now between a rock and a hard place here. It looks like he's going to get pushed in. Definitely wants that frag. He's going to be the first one in. Gustav might be helping him out from the backside there. Needs to start to rein in. DRMA fire is going to have to block himself behind that UAZ, but they're definitely going to know of his position. Definitely goes in with another nade. I can't see exactly where it's going. Oh, but it's taken a DRMA fire to 0.01 HP. He is still alive though. He's going to be medding up, and he's getting a chance at this game. But in the meantime, the Knights have made their way just in his backside.
On Rogue have tried to push up. I'm not sure about that position. It's going to be strong enough yet. Look at Liquid. They're going to chuck those Knights. They're in this little divot, which is why they tried to take it purposely to save the vehicles that are in there. But consequently, it's just like a magnet for those grenades coming down from Ibiza and Samti up on high. They're, of course, coming out of the warehouse that they've been in. They've got the backup of Scoom coming in. James is also there, so Liquid still with 4 alive, but still a lot of work to do. 80 actually went into the warehouse after them, so still alive. So Method's still got 2 people alive, split out a little bit with Stab, of course, going in towards that little shack earlier on. But I'm interested to see how the people from Severny are going to move, both Rogue and Alliance. Alliance are okay. The corner of their house is kind of in there. Rogue, though, they kind of have to move out, as does One. It's One and Rogue that are both in North Severny, as Eki and Uncharged try to make a run for it.
Yes, they do indeed, and as they do come closer, it looks like they have been spotted. Now the circle is strangling, so they won't be able to stay there for too long. But Uncharged is actually getting, he's getting taken down actually by Calvin, and another frag might follow suit there. No, actually, it won't. Yes, it will. Just the top of the tip of the toes of Arky was spotted. Will he have enough time? No, they don't have enough time to pop a first aid kit. That's going to be their end. What an unfortunate way to go out. But yeah, let's have a look at Rogue. Indeed, we're going to be battling Team 1. It does look like they might. It's just A1GG that I see at this moment in time, or A1G rather. Let's see if he actually spots them, takes the shots at them. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't do that indeed. It was a different team that took the shots at him. So Rogue have made their way inside the circle. It's just going to be Owen that has to make it out as well. Let's see if he's able to do that. Looks like he's got a bike, so he should be able if FaZe don't bring him down. Never mind.
Goes
He's
down.
out.
Yeah, hail of bullets. I think I just saw an M24 come out from Haxetti as well, down in UDMA fire. So that's the end of Penta. They've gone down. Unfortunately, Stab, who was fought hard for this little shack, is defending it now. He's took Calvin Klein down. Looks at Tommy from the Diamond Dogs just the other side of it. Calvin Klein will get finished off. Stab tries to use that moment and get on top of the UAZ. Gets out of the nade. Very nicely done there. Avoids the grenade damage and then gets back in. Really well played in the smoke.
Yes, indeed, and Tommy is super close to him. If we were press X, we'd see how close they are breathing. Oh, we are on X. It's actually that thick of a smoke that you can't see the X-ray at all. Oh! And it looks like Tommy's gonna get the best of this duel here. Stab is gonna be eliminated. Tommy playing this one quite sneakily like a ninja will be taking Method out. I think that was the last man standing. Yes, it does. It is. So that will be them eliminated. In the meantime, Team 1 having a hard time, and Severny does seem like it. Alliance have made their way out into a little bit of a dip, but they're soon going to be in the crossfire of Lumber Mill and Rogue potentially. We'll see if that happens. In the meantime, Liquid have lost 1 member themselves as well, whilst Lumber Mill are fragging left and right, putting in some real good shots here, it seems.
FaZe have got to make this really awkward push into Rogue. They allowed Rogue to make the move and get in earlier on, so they have to make this fairly open run. You can see Rogue just got this smallest divot. Now, the problem for them is if they stay where they are, tucked in by the vehicles, they're going to be very surprised when FaZe come over the brow of that hill. It's going to catch them a little off guard. Knights have got to do a similar move as well. You can see the movements coming out of Lumber Mill inside that small little area. They're the really main team that are inside. All of Liquid and Knights kind of going to be just barreling down on the Lumber Mill guys, because that really is the last complex. There's Haxetti with his M24, managed to land the shot with that, and they're starting to make the move as the blue circle shrinks.
Yes, indeed, it shrinks that way, and they're going to have to face, it does look like a team to the south there, Rogue. Well, let's see how they pan out of this situation here. It's not going to be easy at all with Mixie pushing in. Mixie, an absolute beastly player. Okay, he spots this, that means he's going to be taking the shot there. Does not connect most of them, and they're going to punish him for it. He gets knocked out himself. So it's going to be up to his teammates to try and make that push work. They're going to smoke the area before they go in. Nade it if possible as well. That AK hollow sight, well, won't work out, but it looks like his teammate does put some good shots there. Yempty, we're going to have to go for a wide angle there, but takes heavy damage. goes back behind the rock, but that rock is not in the safety of the next white, so it's all going to be down to Rogue. To Yannick, if he can gatekeep his enemies to the north, that will be an absolute miracle. Here they come pushing in. Empty on the side there. The young man from Finland puts in the shots, and he does get them as well. That's a great performance at him with basically 0 point something HP left, or 5 HP pretty much, to clear the angle for his team to go in. It looks like they might get the res as well.
Yeah, Empty proving why he finished joint MVP alongside Andy Pyro in the Stream.me PUBG Invitational the other day. But look at Scoom. He's got himself a decent weapon, lining it up, trying to just railgun accuracy effectively. Jeem's safe. So we were talking about how Lumbermill were going to get pressured from multiple sides. Instead, it was the boys that were pushing out of Severny. I think it's just maybe one member of one that has left alive there. Rogue also were pincered by FaZe. Knights also in the northern side of the circle. Wookie Bookie will get executed. Luka picking up kills here. 5 kills and counted. Scooby's doing some serious work. He's getting the knocks, but not securing the kills.
That's a force indeed. Well, that's we're kind of used to that one there. But yeah, indeed. Suppressed Groza, an absolute beastly weapon. One that you cannot really ignore. So yeah, there you go. That we'll see one of the lads from Lumbermill getting himself taken out. That was a misstep. If anything, unfortunately, he went out in the open exactly where his enemies were. Perhaps didn't hear them properly. But yeah, there you go. Knights, FaZe. Does look like Liquid are pushing in towards the rest of Lumbermill as well. We'll see how it works out because Kane should be able to spot him. Well, if Kane doesn't, his teammates will. Gustav actually is not actively holding that angle there. So Jeems is allowed to approach quite close by. Scoob is coming in from a different angle. This is hard times right now for Lumbermill.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Tripelli.
Oh, he knows.
Tripelli, I should say, trying to get a look. He's trying to hop up on high and give himself as much vision as he can on top of that UAZ, but unfortunately not quite able to get a glimpse of Liquid. Everybody has to move into the circle. The Knights are the first in there. They're going to be engaging with FaZe on the top there, and Liquid, meanwhile, engaging on the side here with Lumbermill. It's a dual fights effectively with, I think it's one, isn't it? There's the lone man that's just sat there watching it all play out.
I think so indeed. Oh, that nade. Jesus, smart man. He puts a lot of smokes in there and follows suit with a nade. Got the AK in hand, but he's getting absolutely glacked. And he will be, might as well be a goner right now. Look at her have to, well, it's just going to be, I think it's going to be Scoom that will have to rely on his sole potential to win this one, or perhaps to get in the top 3, because it's 5 teams left, guys. So the Knights are pushing in as well, close to FaZe. This might be a bit of a duel. Now, Knights are very good at taking shots, but this time around, they're also very good at receiving them, it seems. Krama in a bit of a drama. He's going to have to see himself on his knees, whilst the Lumbermill are holding on to a good spot. Their Alliance being eliminated, I think. Indeed, it was FaZe. Oh, so that was the last guy from Team Alliance. It wasn't Team 1 that we actually saw on the corner there. That nade, though, oh, not enough to take Survivor down. And he indeed stays true, as always, to his name, keeping himself alive.
FaZe just got 2 members alive now with 2 knocked. They've got to try and get the revives in. They're usually very good at doing this, and I can see they're sticking it at the moment. Looks like Yempty's getting revived by his teammate. Not too sure whether they're going to be able to get Haxetti. No, Mexi's not going for it at the moment. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's trying to look for the ideal opportunity. Yempty instead going to be crawling over towards Fuzzface. The Knights trying to hold the angles as much as they can, but they've been engaged. Survivor's been knocked by a grenade from the other side. The boys from Lumbermill getting involved on this one. They're pushing around the side. Going to get in there. Kane's, I think, was within the nade. They've secured it as well with a second nade. So Kane's really causing problems for them as they all try and push in. 3 teams, 18 players alive.
How the hell do FaZe always stay 4-man strong even after they get themselves knocked out? So this is going to be a res again on FaZe. They're going to get their 4th back up on his feet. It does look like Knights are 2-man strong as well as Lumbermill as well. It's the same situation. It's a 2v2, v4. Oh my god, how are FaZe doing this? I have no idea. And they're already on the scout line, ready to come back to the backside of Lumbermill, and with that potentially get themselves cleared up of that one team and only focus on the Knights, of which position they do know as well. So Trifidi and Kane are holding on to their spot there. Oh, that's a good shot from Yempty to take one of the Knights down. It's just going to be Voxic left in this duel. Here it seems. Trifidi. Oh, it's going to have to be the first one from Lumbermill that peeks in, but it looks like Haxetti is just on the other side. Oh, nice shot by Haxetti, but still, he's going to be the one actually that gets dinked super hard, and it doesn't look like he's any first aid kits left. He's just going to have to bandage up and prone his way into the next circle. Gets a first aid kit from Mixie. Good man, Mixie indeed. The empty in the meantime has pushed in further down. Knights
have lost one. They're 8 left. Voxic was down. Tripoli going to use the smoke. The blue, Fortune. Lumbermill boys in. FaZe had spread pretty heavily, but they're going to have to close the net now. and it's going to go straight towards where Trifoli and Kaint are. The Knights just got the 2 members, I believe. Voxic over the side there. There are 1 member, sorry, left. Voxic outside, actually just creeping in on the rim of the blue. FaZe still with 4 alive. They're in prime position to take this one. There's going to be 1. That's the Knights down. They're looking across. Kaint taken so low, but he gets Yempty down. Haxedi dropped as well. Look, Trifoli's going to try and push around the side. Trifoli doing the damage. He's taken down to nothing. Kaint gets knocked. Trifoli, the last man standing in almost a one-on-one here, I believe, with FaZe. They got Fuzzface on the side. Everybody else is knocked, and Fuzzface is going for the revive.
And this is how they get 4-man strong. The rest of the FaZe lineup is going to go for some information play, but it's not going to be good enough. That will be the GG and the chicken dinner for the 5th match of this final here. Fuzzface will close it down and secure the victory for the FaZe Clan.
16 kill finish. What a performance from FaZe Clan. They had a massive, massive game, the final game last night, and they just turn up when it counts, don't they? We were saying, oh, they had a 9th place finish, a 6th place finish. Could it be that someone will take it out, FaZe Clan? No. No. They had a massive lead coming in today, and now they get a 16 kill finish to start things off. Lumbermill, good performance for them, but you got to look down the board. Who's really affected by this? The Knights. 3rd place finish for them is good because they were sitting in 5th place currently, obviously starting to get into the money. The money is where they want to be. Looking towards Liquid, Team Liquid. Decent performance. Obviously, the boys, Cami and Jurasar, were talking about Liquid, how they've had some pretty rough performances. They were down in 9th place, but they do get themselves in 4th. Probably could have took the fight with Lumbermill a little better, I would say, though, towards the end there.
Yes, indeed. It didn't necessarily pan out to their direction, but that's okay. There's still 3 matches, as we discussed here, D-Man. So there's some time to get back into the games. Ladies and gents, to remind you guys at home, just tuning in here, this is the final 4 matches for the APL Season 2 on the EU side. We're going to have the NA production later on as well, but right now on EU, it seems to be quite litty, quite fire, pretty much. So we're going to be coming back to you for the 2nd match, of course. But in the meantime, we'll let you guys enjoy some dulcet tones.
Ready?